Nathan Bedford Forrest at the meeting. Remember, he was here April 10th, 63, June 4th, 63, whatever. And he said, General Hood, with a strong division of infantry and my cavalry, I'll flank them out in 2 hours. Presumably, he'd take Loring's division, because they're the ones to the east. We'll go through that later. And General Hood felt it was too late in the afternoon. This meeting probably was occurring about 2-ish. And the orders were simply, you were going at right shoulder shift. You are going at right shoulder shift. Bayonets fixed. You do not fire a shot till you overwhelm the advanced Federal line. You shoot and stab the enemy in the backs. Let's try it again. You'll shoot the enemy in the backs, go into the works with them, and drive the enemy into the river at all hazards. The last home, Patrick Claiborne, the Stonewall Jackson of the West, who the great Robert E. Lee said that he shone like a meteor on a clouded sky. General Lee never commanded Claiborne, but he admired him a great deal. That's the last home Claiborne walked out of alive, Harrison House. And Hood hobbled out there and repeated the orders in a very stinging fashion. Remember, he was blaming Cheatham and Claiborne for that debacle at Spring Hill. He repeated those orders I just told you. Claiborne looked at him and said, General Hood, we will take the order, so we will follow the attempt. Claiborne, 36 years old, engaged to be married to a lady from Mobile, Alabama, Susan Tarleton, had every reason to want to live. He held his last meeting with his brigadier generals across that street at Breezy Hill. Govan, Granbury, Lowry. He repeated General Hood's orders. A very somber look was on Claiborne's face. I consider him a tactical genius. That's my opinion. And he knew they're going to take 50% casualties. They're going right up the gut. And Govan, after the meeting, looked at Claiborne and said, General, it doesn't look like many of us going to make it back to Arkansas to tell the tale of this fight. And Claiborne's reply was, Govan, if we are to die, then let us die like men. That's a very somber thing. Not only he's mounted, by the way, but his men, his noble division. He always led by example. Furthermore, he never asked his men to do anything he wouldn't do. He always performed his own reconnaissance after Shiloh, and nobody performed reconnaissance there. And he knows his division is going to be taking heavy casualties here. He knows this. He moved over to the, first of all, the Merrill Hills, which is over there, barely visible now, and performed recon. And then he moved, see where that little tiny shed is? See that blue shed in the distance? Way out there?
Way up there.
On the little rise, see that? That is Privet Knob. It was a lot higher than it is now because there was a rock crushing place. Or Privet Hill, right there. This is Privet Hill. He moved over to there to perform recon. He borrowed a Whitworth rifle telescope and borrowed it from Isaac Shannon, 9th Tennessee sharpshooters, and viewed the enemy's position, said there are 3 lines and they are completed. And then, of course, moved back here to his division. On the Federal side, that we're going to go through so many stories. I love strategic, I love tactical, I love chess. I'll chew your legs off playing chess until I played a 17-year-old and he beat me in 8 moves. He was smiling like a possum in the pumpkin patch. Good game. I was mad for 3 days. I didn't let him know it. But nonetheless, there's a soldier named Henry Kelvin, 175th Ohio Infantry, Riley's great interline. But he only enlisted in October. He was 16 years old. He signed so his mother could receive the $331 bonus. That's about $27,000 today, more or less. First battle he'd ever been in. 16 years old, a baby. And we'll talk about what happened to him later and about the mother. There's the 104th Ohio, right by the cotton gin. Adam Weaver, 104th Ohio, the Barking Dog Regiment. Why did they call him the Barking Dog Regiment? Anyone know? Because they had a mascot by the name of Harvey. We'll see a photograph of him later. And he was wounded 3 times. He was captured and wounded near Kennesaw Mountain, Georgia. Confederates called a truce, carried the dog back through to the Federals under a flag of truce, the dog, and exchanged him for a Confederate prisoner, human. And a friend of mine in Indiana, where are my friends from Indiana? Where are they?
Here we are.
Yeah. That dog collar's in Indiana today. He found it at an antique store. It has battle honors on it. Wow. Franklin, Nashville, Resaca, Atlanta, Knoxville, and it's inscribed, "I'm the dog of the 104th OVI Company F. Whose dog are you?" Question mark. I've held that collar. I'm not kidding. And you'll see the photograph of Harvey later. And, Thomas Hansford, Willis Hansford, James Vaught. Who are they? 12th Kentucky. They're from Somerset area. Anyone here near Somerset area? Well, anyway. Thomas Hansford, 44 years old, father. Willis, 21 years old. James Vaught, their nephew or cousin, 22 years old. In line of battle. I've held the frying pan that they carried on all the campaigns. Has a big dent in the side of it. Why? They were cooking meat in the Atlanta campaign. This so-called comrade grabs Thomas's meat out of the frying pan. Thomas took that frying pan and hit the man right upside the head with it. There's a huge dent in it. That family treasures that frying pan to this day. Look at the dent where great-grandpa Hansford hit the man with. Yeah, it's hilarious. But they're in line of battle. James Broden and his two sons, Moses and Jacob Broden, 12th Kentucky, are in line of battle in that inner line that we'll touch on later, of course. In line of battle. 16th Kentucky, Federal was here as well. Buford's Kentuckians, Confederate, Worth Forrest Cavalry, of course. Coghlan, as I already noted, is by the Cotton Gin. Columbus Carson, 50th Ohio, Sergeant, 31 years old, is diagonal to the Cotton Gin across the street. He just sent a letter to his 10-year-old son a week before. "I want you to take that little rifle, go into the barn and kill those rats for me." 10-year-old shooting. He's probably been shooting since he's in diapers. You know, different age back then. Different age. We grew up in a different age. I never died drinking out of a water hose. And I lived in trees like a squirrel. I'm just climbing all. My mother about had strokes, thinking we were going to kill ourselves. And different age back then. A lot tougher people back then. On the Confederate side, these are trained veterans. These are not babes in the woods, even if they're young. For example, 17-year-old Mississippian James Gray. We're going to do more onto the east of stories over there. But Featherston's Brigade, 17 years old. He looks to his friend and says, "This don't look too good." Yeah, you don't have to be a Douglas MacArthur to figure that out. You know, no, it didn't look too good. Confederates were literally embracing each other, saying goodbye. They didn't think they were going to see each other again. Men were circling their chaplains, like Chaplain McNally of Quarles Brigade, and taking off their wedding rings and wallets and photos and such, and asking the people, the men of the cloth, to take these things, so they didn't think they were going to get out of this one. The chaplains were refusing to take anything because they were going in too. And Chaplain McNally said the next day, nearly every one of those men were dead, begged them to do that. If I ever win the lottery, I don't play it much, but you know, when it's great big, why not? Here's $2 or $1. And, who knows?
Somebody's got to win.
Not me, though. You know, I know that. You'd be a lunatic to think you're gonna win that thing. You know. But if I ever do, I'm gonna build a statue to Robert Bringhurst, 49th Tennessee. Why? He's 31 years old, but while he won the Atlanta campaign, he called up the Army on crutches. He had no weapon. He had a furlough in his pocket to go home to Springfield, Tennessee. He's in line of battle with Quarles Brigade. General Quarles, who they said brought a new art to profanity. He didn't have to be mad. It's a blankety-blank beautiful morning. What a blankety-blank fine meal. Even Chaplain Quintard was asked to minister to them, and he politely refused. And the man, staff officer, said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're so profane." He said, "We wouldn't curse around you any more than we do our mothers." Well, you'd be restraining yourselves. And but General Quarles rides in front of his brigade in the 49th, and here's Bringhurst on crutches, no weapon. Twice ordered him out of the ranks. He rides back by and he said, "My brave man, what in the hell can you do? You don't have a rifle." His reply was, "I'll cheer the boys on, General. My God in heaven." He hobbled in that battle on crutches. And I'll tell you about him later. He deserves $1 million statue, doesn't he? I swear I'll build one for him if I ever win that lottery. $1 million statue. Not the Longstreet statue at Gettysburg. What is about this tall? Something about my neck right there. Don't you think, I know I'm a big old Pete fan, but don't you think he deserves a little better than that? He looks like he's on a little Shetland pony. Whatever.
He's the only one that did any damage there. He knocked out 13 Union brigades.
Yeah, but he got that little pony he's on. So, that statue, that statue. Cockerell's Missouri Brigade. I have adopted them because 30 years ago, I only thought of Bloody Bill and Quantrill and mess. I never knew about the 1st Missouri Brigade. Wonderful half-Irish immigrants, I'm pro-Irish now. As the late Phil Gottschalk, God rest your soul, told me. They're in line of battle with French's division. 670 men now. They started out 5,000. They reluctantly surrendered at Vicksburg and re-enlisted for 40 years of the duration of the war. Now they're in line of battle. What are they thinking? They make jokes. That's good Irishmen always do. The Irish have always had the face of looking adversity with humor. Well, they had 700 years of experience with it, didn't they? So to break the tension, one lad repeated an order from Admiral Nelson at Trafalgar. England expects every man to do his duty. Well, Lord have mercy. What do you think the Irish immigrants are saying about that? And one Denny Callahan, the color sergeant, 1st 4th Missouri. Do you know what a color sergeant and a color guard is? If you don't be ashamed, or don't. It's like you're the color bearer, and there's 6 people around you. I'm the color sergeant. You go down, you pick up the color. You go down, you pick up the colors. And if it go, I'll pick up the colors. The sergeant, if it has to. 6 people around that flag is a point of honor. And Denny Callahan, the color sergeant, 1st 4th Missouri, said with vim and vigor. He said, "It'd be by a damn bloody sight England get any damn bloody duty out of this Irish crowd." How like banshees. Todd Carter, as I've already told about Todd Carter, went to his grave yesterday. So, but what is he thinking? My God, 3.5 years. He can see his home in the distance. The trenches all around his family's home. Are they alive? Are they okay? Dear Lord, as well. Nathan Bedford Forrest again comes up on this hill and again requests that General Hood allow him to flank them out with a strong division of infantry and his cavalry. And Hood felt it was too late. The river is up. There was a 28th Mississippi Cavalryman in Armstrong's brigade that drowned crossing that. Not everybody knew how to swim back then like they do now. Even my mama didn't know how to swim, but she made sure we knew how to swim. And a lot of people didn't know how to swim then. Hood refused. So it is, what kind of weather is it? It's a day I live every day of my life. When as a little boy, I'd run up down the back of my yard pretending I was in the attack. I'd have given anything to be in this attack, in this war. And I knew a lot about the battle, but I didn't know squat about casualties and about mamas and daddies never seeing sons, about the mother of Albert Templeton, 9th Tennessee. And I'll tell you about him later, and his death and his mother. I didn't know anything about that kind of stuff. And but it's a beautiful Indian summer afternoon. About 45 degrees, but what's most important to know, there's no wind, there's no breeze whatsoever. It's dead still. So where's the smoke going to go? They're not going anywhere. It's not going to dissipate. And that's an important component of this battle later on when we go into it. You can't see 10 or 12 feet around. I'll repeat that later. But the sun was about an hour from setting in the southwest. Imagine this valley, this autumn rays that glow along the valley. But even now, little patches of darkness are starting to start. Little patches here and there, but that autumn glow over the Bluegrass Valley. After a while, there'll be a tiny new moon or a crescent moon will come up in the southeast. This skyline they felt was a blood crimson red, which the soldiers on both sides felt was a very, very ominous sign. I want to repeat, I'm not here to beat up Hood. He was a very brave man. He was doing the best he could do. You know his wounds by now. He wanted to defeat this federal army before they could get to Nashville. And there were opportunities with this advanced line a half a mile south of the Carter House. We'll go through all that later, and it's going to hold out too long. There were opportunities here. My big critique of him is lack of proper reconnaissance, especially to the east, that I'll show you later, how that river and everything is smaller and smaller. Stuart's Corps attacking there. And there were, again, opportunities to defeat this federal army. I think they should have flanked. We'll never know, but I'm going to take you over there. Somehow I'm going to get you to that bluff. We'll have to walk to it, park the bus, but it won't be like a walk at Spring Hill, up that hill. But I have to get you there somehow or another. If anybody yells at us, I'll take the heat. I'll just go, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm sorry, just play stupid, you know. And but I'm going to get you there no matter what.